it's so exciting. And speaking of those two books, so we've got 3 a.m. stories and we've got 13:8. So I want to start diving into a little bit about these books in particular. So let's start with 3 a.m. stories. What is 3 a.m. stories, and what's the purpose behind it?
Well, 3 a.m. stories, I had originally titled it 3 a.m. thoughts, but 3 a.m. stories sounds a little bit better. It's kind of stuff that I would have been thinking of writing about or in the dead of night when it's midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the world is quiet. The people working third shift at work during third shift, but still the world is pretty quiet. You look outside your window, you might see a car go by with its lights on, and they don't even know that you're awake because your house is dark, but you're just sitting there maybe in your living room or laying in bed just in the complete dark. And, so how are you feeling? What am I going through? Do I feel lonely, depressed, sad, anxious? Am I worried about work in the morning? I got to get up at, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I got to be up at 6 o'clock to be at work by 7:30, or I deal with rush hour and all this stuff, and starting to feel anxious, and, or what kind of life cycle am I going through? Am I going through a divorce? Am I having an argument with my kids? Am I having to deal with, sickness, in me, or a family member is sick that, I'm worried about them. And just all these emotions and thoughts are rushing into your head, and you can't shut off your mind because you just want to sleep. But you're wide awake and just feeling lonely and depressed, and all these negative feelings and emotions that usually come at that time of night.
Yeah, and I think when I first read through 3 a.m. stories, I remember thinking specifically, I feel like I have felt this exact thing before. Like I've had this thought process, you know what I mean? And it's at those 3 a.m. moments where you do feel like you have your darkest times, your darkest moments. That's when you're wrestling with things the most, either because you're up until 3 a.m. because you haven't been able to fall asleep, or you've been asleep and now you're up in the middle of the night and now your mind is racing and all these things. And so I love it. I love 3 a.m. stories. I think it is great. So 13:8 is one that's been hotly debated about the title between me, you, and your cover designer, which was also Joe. And 13 space 8. No a semicolon there, or colon. So why 13:8? And what's the purpose behind this book of poetry?
Well, 13:8 is based off of the Bible verse, John 13:8, which says, I'm going to just read it. So it's a conversation between Peter and Jesus. So here's what it says. No, said Peter, you shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered, unless I wash you, you have no part with me. So the basis for 13:8 is there's hope, which is a stark contrast to 3 a.m. stories, because 3 a.m. stories, as I just said, you're kind of feeling like you're in a dark spot, in a dark area, and just feeling troubled and anxious and all these negative feelings. But as the cliche, the old saying goes, it's always darkest before the dawn. And then there's the dawn. It's just a matter of waiting, being able to wait it out, and knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and knowing that there is things will get better, even if it doesn't seem like it will. There is hope, and I know people who are watching this, they may believe differently. whether, religiously, we might have some atheists or Muslims or Hindus or, whatever your religious background is, or, there is hope. You can find hope in whatever it is that you believe in. And for me, it's the hope of, that Jesus offers here, that, to be a part of him. And there's the other verse where, about the, being the branches of the vine, he's the vine, I'm the branch, and apart from, the branch being apart from the vine, it dies. So when you're a part of the vine, and you're part of, let's say a team or connected with somebody else, that somebody else can help encourage you, or, part of that team, there's accountability. If you're a former alcoholic, you have Alcoholics Anonymous, there's accountability there, there's hope. And, I was just using that as an example.
Yeah.
So, so it's a matter of, you're not alone in whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
And if you are feeling alone, know that there are people around you who do care, even if they don't know exactly what you're going through, or know exactly how you're feeling or whatever, they can be there for you and just support you in so many ways. It's just a matter of you kind of raising your hand going, I need help. I'm going through a dark period in my life, and somebody will be there for you. And even if they don't know how to, talk to you about whatever it is you're going through, maybe they can be the one to help lead you to, a therapist, or find you a pastor, or, maybe, somebody else who can help walk you through whatever it is that you're feeling.